Is this the Russian guy?
Yes. Now, I'm sharing this because I want your thoughts on your alignment with the 4 rules.
Okay.
I'll tell you outright, I do share alignment with 3, and there's one that I think is a talking point.
Yep. Okay.
Do you want discipline? I give you some rules. Number 1, start your day with small ritual, like 10 push-ups. Then the day will start you. Number 2, plan small steps, not big steps. If you have too big goals and cannot achieve, you have nothing, and you kill your discipline. Number 3, be humble. You are not special. You are not king of world. You are not privileged. Humbleness, discipline, and willpower are different sides of one coin. Number 4, make every day a promise to your ancestors to serve them. They will give you direction. They will give you discipline. They will give you willpower. Be honorable.
Wow. I only agree with 2, and even then one of them's an iffy for me.
All right, so this is going to be some talking points.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Well, first of all, be humble. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
You could have substituted for be grateful, perhaps.
Okay.
Honor your ancestors. That sounds too blood ritual to me. You know, a bit archaic. I think we've moved on from that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With the first one, which is, he suggested doing the 10 push-ups. We'll start with a ritual. Look, again, the ritual could be anything. I've been in some sessions where they say start off with something that you find interesting or gives you a bit of a pleasure of the day, like an activity. So that may not be push-ups for some people, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're going to get some sort of kick out of it that it's for you.
Yeah.
So, for example, you got a work day ahead of you, but do a task that is similar to work, but is not a work output, So, but that being said, I do agree with doing something productive at the start of the day to set yourself up. And the second one, I believe, was the one I mainly agree with, breaking things down to a smaller task as possible. I think that's solid for me. Absolutely. I think that's a no-brainer.
So the theme then is discipline. And so you agree with breaking into a more manageable, digestible chunk, so it's more approachable. That's the net outcome.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The ritual aspect, I think you can, if you want an increased alignment behind it, I wouldn't look at it as doing a ritual. It's more about starting your day without the dopamine suck. So, like, for example, I know you don't necessarily play video games, but whatever is some sort of habit or activity that you do where you could sit there for 3 hours as a vegetable.
Yeah, like you don't want to be on YouTube Shorts or
starting your day that way.
Yeah.
Right. So think of it as, well, what's the opposite of that? Well, that's doing something that some people say make the bed, push up, whatever it is. It's something that's actually moving away from the dopamine suck.
Yep.
The third one, the be humble. Let's talk about that. So we're talking about discipline, which is the self-motivation, self-control to actually follow through with something you said you're going to do. Or do you see it a different way?
Discipline, I could see that way, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the thing is, if you think you're a god, then certain tasks this might not be in your shoes, but there's definitely enough social stereotypes that let's generalize and talk about status quo. If you think you're a god, there are tasks that are beneath you. For example, some people don't want to empty the caravan toilet. Right? So be humble and do it, because we're all people, we're all equal.
That's an interesting take on it. That's not how I interpreted that, and that's a good example of clarifying the humility aspect of it. I may have taken it negatively by suggesting don't overreach on your goals. So I've taken it emotionally.
Yeah, actually, it's the opposite.
As a ceiling, as a glass ceiling.
Yeah, when it's actually don't underreach.
Where it's, you know, if one were to use your an example, unrelated example. It's not about the glass ceiling. It's about
the poo floor.
It's about, I was going to say, the bathroom tiles.
Luckily, we had disinfectant wipes.
Yeah, good clarification. Good clarification on the humility.
So the one that I had a significant issue with was number 4, the ancestry. Now, firstly, the 1 to 3, whether I agreed with them or not, I didn't take issue. They might not be my top 4, but didn't take issue. The last one, though, respect your past. And that I fundamentally disagree with. And if you want to take the most extreme example, what if your father was a Nazi?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
To me, that's a very poor appeal. I can't remember what the fallacy is, but some sort of appeal to authority, past being the authority, something along those lines. But
yeah, and again, great example with the Nazis. Like, are you appealing to a bloodline? That you've got some sort of princely blood or godly blood, or you know, there's the emotive element of it sits uncomfortably with me for just based on human history.
I think the question then is, like, so you and I see this the same way, but I don't know if we're misinterpreting what their intention was, and perhaps they've got an opportunity to rephrase, because perhaps they intended it as honor the past. Now, to me, I think that's different than serve the past. So honor is keeping it in memory, all right? And you can keep it in memory and not follow.
Yeah, you can honor the memory of a loved one. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean blindly sheep.
Yeah. You can honor the memory. You can take meaning out of that honor.
Yeah.
But yeah, ritual aligned to honoring blood sounds too sheep-like to me. Whereas honor the memory of a loved one allows you to, I guess, kind of tailor it to something that's meaningful to yourself.
Yes.
And not blindly worshipping.
And I find it to be a very significant distinction.
100%. I think the wording has to be very different for it to be taking that meaning of honor. Yeah. So
the reason then I shared this was I don't religiously follow this channel, but like of the handful of videos I have seen, I've actually typically gone, wow, you know, it's quite a condensed set of insights that I agree with. Whether they're coming up with it doesn't matter. But then this one really stuck out like a sore thumb for me because I felt so incongruent with it.
Yeah, I've seen some of his material as well. I'm not sure if it's an actor or not, but yeah, some of it's...
Yes, he is.
You say, wow, that's been really condensed to as short as possible for the biggest punch.
Yeah. To the point where, like, in the corporate world, I'd pay that person to do a motivational thing for the team.
Yeah.
You only need 15, 20 minutes.
Would you get him to take your shirt off and show the Russian butt tats?
All right, next video.